Alright, so here we are in round 2 after a relatively easy round 1. This hand is a snap keep. I don't care what country you are from. Alright, red-green land. So in modern, red-green, it's not rug twin. Rug twin never starts out with a land and doesn't produce blue. It could be zoo. It could be Scapeshift. Could be prime shift. Those are my dogs, Jackie and Shaky, being annoyed to death by our next door neighbors apparently existing. Now I remember okay, so it definitely is Scapeshift, and it's a very classic version of Scapeshift. It's unlike the one that I play. I remember Scapeshift very, very well. Uh, I loved that deck a lot. It was a lot of fun, but it just wasn't good enough, especially against Twin Affinity. It has a miserable Affinity matchup. Even sideboard, it just doesn't play the right cards to beat Affinity. I even play test. By the way, I put that on there so that way I can gain life and Affinity. If it gets to seven, not Affinity. Scapeshift. If it gets to 7 lands, does 18 damage. If it gets to 8 lands, does 33 damage. So, I'm at 25, threatening to go up much higher than that. I really experimented with Scapeshift. I must have played it in over 1,000 matches. Wow, I did not experiment that much. I would never play Scavenging Ooze in Affinity. It doesn't play removal. If you don't play removal, Scavenging Ooze is worthless. I did play Tarmogoyf Scapegoyf, which played Tarmogoyf and Scapeshift. I basically just took out the Farseeks and like one Izzet Charm. So here I have to be wary of Izzet Charm. At the same time, I feel like, well, I'm gonna split up my 2 cranial platings here, right? Should I? Yeah. I'm gonna split up the 2 cranial platings, so that way, in case he does have Izzet Charm, he can't stop one or the other. Alright, good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the deck is good. I mean, Scapeshift has 14 red sources, so has 14 triggers of Valakut, if I do my math right. I'm just gonna, I guess I'll bring in Spellsky. I mean, what you have to think about is what are they playing in their sideboard? Are they ready for the Affinity matchup? This hand, oh man, if this had a Lotus Petal, I would have snap kept it. This is a slow one. I think it's fine. Are they trying to be too cute and play Fracturing Gust, right? Because that's like the worst idea ever. And I know because I used to play Fracturing Gust. It's just bad. Also, you want to not play your red sources in Affinity. You want to, but he also went down to 18, which, as an Affinity player, I'm not as a Scapeshift player. I'm so sorry. I'm messing up my words. Okay, so we brought in bolts to deal with creatures. That's fine. There should be Sack of Tribe Elder. That's fine. It's really what it comes down to is A, you don't want to play out your red sources in Scapeshift. B, you want to have access to removal, but Lightning Bolt is not nearly as good as Izzet Charm. Also, filter lands are expensive, and you don't want to make you only play 2 Valakuts in the deck, and you don't want to make them vulnerable to something just as simple as Ghost Quarter and Surgical Extraction, or even just like, Avalanche Riders. So he's at 4 mana, But if he added Scavenging Ooze to his deck, that means that he had to cut. I've yet to see a Search for Tomorrow. I have not seen a Farseek. Haven't seen an Is It Charm. Faithless Looting. He doesn't have Cryptic Command mana. Okay, so I'm gonna just play Arcbound here. And then I'm going to, what's this? 1, 2, 3. I don't have enough mana to play draw 2 here, which is fine. It's not really the end of the world. I'm a turn slower, but it doesn't look like he has anywhere near what he needs to win this at the moment. Is a Charm obviously still a possibility? Although the whole Lightning Bolt, when you're on the play and you go, Shockland, untap, take 2, that's just dumb. But I use the opportunity of not playing the draw 2 spell to pump up my Inkmoth Nexus, which is probably the fastest way to kill him. Alright, just gonna put a Midnight into play, put a Vault Scourge into play. Because if I get to Vault Scourge, if I just get 3 counters on it in the next 2 turns, or even if I just Arcbound Ravager onto Vault Scourge, then that should get me out of range for an extra turn, and then I get an extra turn to kill him. So, obviously he's gonna block with Sack a Tribalder. He's gonna block and sack. Everyone knows the old block and sack. Which is fine. Block with Sakura Tribalder. It makes me think, though, against Affinity, I know you're trying to ramp, but you main deck cards like Anger of the Gods and things of that nature. So would it have made sense for him last game to block with the Sakura Tribalder and kill off my Midnight to kind of slow down the damage that I'm doing? It would have slowed me down 1 turn. It would have slowed him down 1 turn. I apologize. 1 land. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. He's doing the math now, and he doesn't have enough he doesn't have enough to... In this case, because he didn't have another green source, he could have went Scapeshift. Well, he could have, with the mana he has in play, he could have sacked Sakura Tribalder, and then just gone off for 18 with Valakut. But in this case, let's see. If I attack with everything, I avoid Is It Charm. Now, granted, I'm going off a pretty archaic deck list, but I'm out of range of Is It Charm now, so if I was to just sack everything to Inkmoth, that's enough infect. That's 10 infect damage, and he's dead. I don't even have to sack anything else. I mean, I could have just went all in. So that should be game right there. Doing simple math. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 3.